seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of What's in a Box.
I am your host, DeathMetalHero, and with me are two modern-day legends in our little indie scene over here in the corner of the internet. I've got the one and only Barton brothers. What's up, Korey? What's up, Clayton? Thank you so much for joining me here today, man.
The honor is all ours, Luke. Thank you so much for the invite. Really do appreciate you reaching out to us. And
absolutely, man.
It's been a while, actually, since I've been on a stream, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little rusty. I've got my coffee here, so the charisma will turn on as
got my
the stream
coffee as
continues.
Well.
Yeah. But no, it's
like riding a bike.
Here.
It's like riding a bike. You never forget.
Yeah. Always wanted to do a stream with you, Luke. I've seen you around,
awesome.
And you're a very, let's say, memorable and unique individual.
Well, thank you.
So you're hard to forget. You're unforgettable. And I was always a little bit nervous about reaching out to you to do a show, though, because you know, I mean, you're a cool guy. You're one of the cool guys.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I love comics. I love talking to creative individuals. That's why I started doing these type of shows. And I'll tell you, with this show in particular, What's in the Box, when I first jumped into this indie scene, a lot of people were kind of like nervous about backing indie books because, are they gonna get filled? Is it gonna show up? So it was my way of saying, hey, you know, I put my money into this, and look, I've got something that showed up. You know, I've got this book here. Look how fucking badass this is. Look how cool it is. And these dudes, you know, they fulfilled. So you can feel good about backing their next project. You can feel good about, you know, jumping in on this indie comics scene. So that was my way of giving back to the scene, you know, helping people feel better about jumping in on this. So thank you for the kind words, Clayton. I appreciate that, man. You guys are awesome. You know, you guys always show up in chats. I mean, Korey's always jumping in, dropping the pizza slice and hanging out, and you know, it's cool to see people that I've seen hanging out in this scene for so long, and you know, continuously doing good things. You know, you with the Academy, Clayton and Korey. I mean, dude, whenever you do a fucking cover for somebody, I mean, it's just like, damn. Like the cover you did for Aaron C. for Immortal Rising with the blue chick.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's a hot cover. That's a hot cover.
One of my favorites to do.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys have definitely made a splash in this little indie scene of ours, and it you know, it's people like you guys that make it fun to pick up indie books. You know, and I was talking about this with Korey in the background. There's a distinct lack of like bombastic, badass artwork, and you guys absolutely bring that to the table with what you're doing. You know.
Yeah, we tried really hard to do that. It was at the top of our priorities list.
I think you succeeded. Wholeheartedly succeeded. Let's go ahead and say hi to the chat. Hey, look, we got Korey Barton in the chat. What's up, Korey? Got my esteemed co-host on Topicless, Mr. Jason Bascom, Unhinged. He says, my favorite humans on panel at this moment. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. And we get my lovely lady, Flying Feline. Skull Beautiful, thank you for being here. Already dropping the link in the chat for Korey's Andromenoids, which you can hit the link and sign up for. And we'll be talking about that a little later in the show. Skull,
yeah, thanks.
Thank you for the backup. Coffee. She's Art got the pizza slice. There you go. We got Woodrow in the chat. Hola, sup peeps? What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here, brother. Good to see you. Feline says hello, Clayton. Hey, we got somebody saying hi over on Twitch. Gimme Dome, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. What's up, Comic Book Bob? Man, it's been a while since I've seen you, brother. Thanks for being here. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Yeah, Feline is a big fan of the blue chick from Immortal Rising. She is fire. Remember the last time I was up there visiting her? She was scrolling through Twix, and she's like, "Oh damn, look at that!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's Korey. That's Korey Barton." So making you make good stuff, gentlemen. Is there anything that you guys are reading right now? Anything that you guys are excited about? Anything you just got in the mail that you're super stoked for?
I've been reading the Origin manga by Boichi because that's been recently translated to English and printed, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
It's about like an android guy pretending to be a human. Pretty good.
Nice. That actually kind of reminds me of a TV show that I watched on Fox back in the day with Carl Urban. It was Almost Human. It was kind of like a clean cyberpunk type story. Definitely worth checking out if you can find it. And what about you, Clayton? Anything that you've gotten recently? Anything you're reading? Whether it's comics or books or what have you?
Yeah, I wish I could say that I was reading more comic books, but unfortunately, the last comic book that I was reading was Berserk, and I've got the Origin books as well. So I've got Amazon Prime, so
nice.
I order them for me and Korey on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And what I do is I flip through them and look at the artwork, but I don't read them. So I don't know if that counts or not, but...
Well, I mean, you're absorbing the artwork by osmosis,
Yeah,
I can get that.
So I don't have a whole lot of time, unfortunately, throughout the day. It's the How to Draw Comics Academy by day, a little bit by night, and then have some family time. You can't neglect the family completely.
Absolutely not. No, family. Yeah. You gotta make time for the family.
Exactly. You have to. And then after everything is done, I cool off at the end of the day I started watching a series called The Wire. I don't know if you've heard of that series before, but I'm a fan of cop shows. What can I say? So I've been making my way through I'm onto the third season of that at the moment and enjoying it.
Then I think you would. They only did one season of it, but it's kind of like a cyberpunk cop show.
Sweet.
So Being Human. No, not Being Human. Almost Human. Almost Human. Being Human was the werewolf, vampire, and ghost living in a house together. Which
sounds familiar.
Yeah, they did a Canadian version of it, but it was a UK show, like a BBC show. The BBC version was a lot better, but the Canadian version wasn't bad. Feline says, "Thank you, Clayton, for the drawing tutorials." Yeah, man.
Oh, you're welcome. No worries at all. It's what I do.
Yeah, obviously with the academy that you opened up there. I actually just had Mark Polton on for Writhe and Pain, and in between that show, at the end of that show and this one, I actually read that whole thing, and it was pretty badass. I enjoyed it. Chris Graves did a fantastic job on the artwork in that.
Oh, yeah. Love Chris
beautiful,
Graves.
Beautiful line work. Yeah,
I got to get him to teach in the academy.
Right. And according to Polton, like before they started hanging out, he had only been drawing for like a couple of years. So I mean, he's like leveled up ridiculously quick, apparently. So that's amazing.
I wonder what his secret is.
Right? I don't know. Miracle Grow for artists. I don't know, man. It's pretty incredible. See, Feline got the links. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. We're gonna talk about all the cool stuff that you guys have going on currently, but why don't you guys tell me where the idea for Kozor came from, and I'll go ahead and open this up, and we'll give the people what they want.
It's your moment to shine, Korey.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think once I watched Berserk with Clayton, that inspired me a fair bit. Like I feel like the detail and all that, and the story, very much inspired it all. Pretty much.
Oh, look at that! And I don't even need the knife. And just knife's cool anyway. So Berserk inspired the story.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing book, Berserk. So I was like, heck yeah! I think it was so different to anything else I had ever read or looked at. Like you don't get American comics that are like Berserk. So
right. I actually just started reading the omnibus of Berserk recently. I got the hardcover. Yeah, I had never read it before, and I've never been super into manga. I remember when Dark Horse was putting out like Battle Angel Alita, and I picked those up. That was like the first time I really got kind of introduced to manga. Oh man, look at that! Oh heck yeah!
Cool, you got 3.
Yeah, had to get all of these, man. They were just too cool not to. Let me get this box out the way. So the story and the characters, I mean, were these characters that kind of just kind of popped into your head because of Berserk, or were they kicking around in your head for a while? Like,
I think they really it kind of like developed and changed a lot over time. Like I had a basic idea for Chief Baron.
That's this dude right here, right?
Yeah. He's like a very angry, gruff kind of dude. Not really a hero. But like his design developed a lot over time. Like he didn't always have the fish sort of monster mask. Originally he had like a kind of a normal helmet, but then like my ideas, because I worked on Koza for so long, the story and everything just changed a lot over time.
What year did the story start for you?
I've got no idea.
It was ages ago. Yeah. Was
like when me and Clayton were living together.
Oh wow. Okay.
Probably more than like 10 years ago, maybe. Really?
Okay, so you've been living with these characters in your head for that long, huh?
Yeah, it's been a very long time. And of course, like this is a remastered edition of an original book I done. So.
So, wow. Okay, I remember hearing about that. I remember hearing about that. What? So you had the book all completely drawn, just basically done.
It was even released like digitally, like ages ago, on Clayton's How to Draw Comics website when we're doing a bit of like a digital comic book store there.
Wow.
But yeah, it wasn't really until we went to Indiegogo that we got a lot more attention on it. Remaster it.
That's awesome. So this is the remaster is the first time that it was actually in print. It was digital online. That's cool. Man, these covers are beautiful. Holy crap, man!
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, the printing came out beautiful as well. Wow. So you've had How to Draw Comics for a very long time, then, Clayton.
Oh yeah, the How to Draw Comics probably started 14 or 15 years ago now. No, that's not right. Sorry, in 2014 it would have started. So 2014 was when the website first published to the internet, and since then it's just been growing. It started out with a few written tutorials, and then we began the YouTube channel, put out a bunch of tutorials on there. Some of the people who recognize How to Draw Comics often recognize us from the Ninja Turtle coloring video. Like I did a series of Ninja Turtle illustrations for Michelangelo on YouTube. Awesome. And that was way back in the early days. And I was looking at the intro to those videos just a few weeks back and realized how much older I have become since then. It's so nuts. But yeah, and HowToDrawComics.net has just grown from that point onward. Got Joe Catapano on to create some amazing tutorials on the website. And
Joe's great, man. Love that dude.
Yeah, my goal was to create the #1 learning resource for aspiring comic artists everywhere in the world, because it didn't really exist, and it especially didn't exist for free. Like a lot of what we have on there is completely free. You can read the tutorials, got the videos on the YouTube channel, and it's, of course, when you want to level up, you can jump into the academy, and I'll give you all your coaching and your feedback, and along with the lessons, the premium lessons and whatnot. But it's really there to help the next generation of comic artists make some really, really cool stuff. That's the goal. Because if I can help all those people out there in the world who love the art of comic book illustration and they create their own comic books, and that's more amazing looking comic books than I could ever create myself.
Right.
So
inspiring the next generation. I mean, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion we need more comics that look like this. Like,
That does look good, doesn't it?
yeah, that looked good. That looked real good. What's up, K-pop? Thanks for coming to hang out. Appreciate you being here. I was saying, I have been very much looking forward to reading this book. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and wow. Yeah, I was telling Mark Bolton that when I was reading old Top Cow stuff. I used to pore over the line work of like Dave Finch and Mark Silvestri and stuff like that, and I can tell that I'm definitely going to be staring at this for a while. Going over this over and over again and just enjoying the amount of detail that you put into this, because I mean we don't really get much in the way of this anymore. I mean, Liam Sharp sometimes will do stuff like this. I've seen some of the stuff that he's done out in the mainstream, and he'll occasionally get like this. But nobody really does this anymore. So I love seeing stuff like this. This makes me happy. Reminds me of those fun days, going to the comic shop in my early college days and picking up just fun, cool shit.
Yeah, this is definitely a book we were both proud of, and we put so much work into it. Still remember the late nights.
Mm-hmm.
Perfecting background elements like clouds and cliff faces, and really getting it down to the last detail, making sure it was the best he can be. And Korey was doing the same. Korey recolored some of those pages like 3 times in order for us to get it just right. And maybe we went overboard with that stuff, but the end result, it's here to stay forever now.
Yep.
And every time we look back at this book, I've become re-inspired again. And I want to...
That's awesome.
Sometimes I worry that I won't ever make something that great again because it was so epic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely something that makes me want to put out another book for sure.
Well, I mean, if it re-inspires you, that's a good thing. That is a damn good thing.
It's like, damn, we did some cool stuff, Korey.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So, how long did it what was the creative process? Like, how long did it take to actually go through and fully remaster it and get it to where you wanted it? What was that process like?
It took us a long time. Yeah, so it started out, we were just going to do a few minor tweaks, but me being the perfectionist that I am, I started noticing fundamental issues with some of the artwork that was previously already created for Kozor.
Right.
So, for example, there was some issues with the perspective or the character placement, and then there was also the cosmetics of the characters. So there was some inconsistencies between their design from one panel to the next. Mm-hmm. And so we did a really massive overhaul where I redrew a lot of the pages, going over the top of Korey's work, still using the same layouts that he had already placed down on the page. And of course, he was amazing at drawing monsters, so a lot of those I didn't really touch with the line work. And then Korey would go over the top and recolor them. And another part of the process was also figuring out the coloring style. So in the early days of Kozor, Korey was still developing his particular technique for coloring. And we went through a few different iterations of coloring aesthetic before we settled on the final one that you see here in the printed book.
Yeah, I think, that was one thing was the coloring, because Clayton was originally going to remaster some of the colors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I came in later and we just decided that I'd recolor pretty much most of the book I think the new cut and grad sort of style that Clayton was on my. He was telling me to try out this cut and grad style, like the old Image, sort of Michael Turner colors.
Yes, totally.
So when I started getting into that, we were like, should just recolor most of the book, basically.
No,
Yeah,
it works really well. Like the color palette really it fits the art style, and it fits the story. Just looking at what I see here, like this page in particular, I love this in the background. The colors, it pushes all of this forward. I mean, it really does fit the tone and the mood that you're going for here. I think you made the right choice. And again,
those clouds in that background.
Yeah,
was probably like 5 times or something. I had to recolor those. He's like Clayton's a very picky dude, but like
paid off in the end, though, right?
Yeah, it did. So what I'm hearing is Clayton is a good editor. He's got an eye for detail to make things turn out the way they should.
He's an extreme editor. Like, if you want your book to look really good, he'll make it look good.
Yeah. Pretty much. You might not like... See, I don't know. Some people might not like working with me, though, because I can be too much of a perfectionist sometimes. And when I see something that could be better, I just can't let go of it.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll be even on to me about some of the commission work I do. Trying to make sure.
Yeah, I had to actively step back from looking over Korey's client work.
Yeah. I
gotta get it done, man.
So I can make money.
Yeah. Hey, having that second set of eyes, having somebody that can help you see the forest from the trees, that's important. I mean, this one right here, Feline. I send her all my stuff. And she'll point out things. She'll be like, "Hey, that looks a little funky there. Maybe you should fix that." And I'll be like, "All right, well, what's funky about it?" And then she'll explain to me what she sees funky, and then I'll fix it. And it always ends up being better. So I mean, having somebody give you that feedback, helping you see the forest from the trees is important.
Yeah.
What's up, BA?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to hang out, man.
So,
like
the Bartons do great art. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, heck yeah, B.A. Turner. Gotta love B.A. Turner's stuff too. But I think that for me, I'm really externally referenced. So I actively seek feedback from people. Otherwise, I can't call something done until I've gotten Korey's opinion on it. And if Korey gives me an opinion where he's like, "No, dude, it sucks, change it," I freak out and I change it all completely.
Yeah.
But other people...
He freaks out when I don't give him enough feedback, though. Like, I'll be like, "Yeah, it looks good, man. Like, it's fine."
Yeah.
But
I want more.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm very externally referenced, but some people are internally referenced, and it's the internally referenced people who will look at their work and go, "Yep, that's good," and they won't listen to anybody outside of them. And I feel like those particular people are at a bit of a disadvantage because you essentially are stuck with one perspective to tell you whether or not what you're doing is good, whether or not you're on the right track. So if you can, try to be more externally referenced. You don't have to listen to everybody, but especially the professional people out there who know what they're talking about, who have a good track record. So if you've gotten advice from somebody before that worked really well, then they're probably somebody you can go to later on down the track for something else, and you'll be able to trust their word, trust that they know what they're talking about. Like my partner, for instance, whenever I ask her for advice, she gives me awesome advice, and it works well. Like she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, it's valuable stuff to get feedback from people you can trust.
100%. You know, you be as creatives, you know, as artists and writers, we, you know, sometimes we're existing in these worlds that we're creating, and we kind of get stuck up in our own heads. And sometimes it's good to be able to, you know, step back and be pulled out from you know, the the little worlds that we exist in up here, and reconnect with the real world. And having people that can do that for you is a good thing. I love the cards. I love the posters. This right here, I mean, you got Dan Lawless to do a poster for you. I love Dan's work. This is great, man.
Yeah, Dan did a good job on this. It's
It
awesome.
feels like Conan. You know, feels like Conan with a cool headdress on. You know, I dig it.
He's got that old school vibe about his art that just reminds you of Frazetta a little bit.
Yes, 100%. And then got Kanan White to do a cover for you guys. Kanan, man, I miss seeing that dude's work around. You know, you never really get to see Kanan too much anymore. But I'm glad that I got all 3 of these covers. This is fantastic. I am so excited to read this, and the cards. I love the cards. I was just telling Polton. I have binders and binders, at least 3 or 4 binders full of different card sets. So I love seeing, you know, everybody's take on doing the cards for their you know, series. Because something that my dad and I used to do. You know, we used to go to the comic shop and we would buy, you know, the entire box of cards, and then we'd open them all up and see if we got the whole set and try to get all the chase cards. So yeah, I love seeing, you know, everybody's take on the cards.
That's awesome.
Now, so is this a complete story? Is Kozor done after this, or is there going to be more Kozor? Just curious.
Yeah, there will be more Kozor. I mean, this is kind of like the first chapter, but it's almost like a prequel. Like, it's all introducing the characters and
nice.
So yeah, I've got to get out Andromenoids, but I do have Kozor 2 all planned out and thumbnailed out as well. I actually had an older version of the second Kozor book, but I'm gonna do a new one. That'll be good.
Gonna remaster that just like you did the first volume here.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
excellent.
It's kind of changing up the story a bit as well, making sure it's all good. So I got a lot of feedback from Kozor 1 on the story, so
excellent.
Make sure it's all good.
And see, that's I believe that's another beautiful thing about this this indie scene that we have over here, is that there's a direct connection with the fans. You know, you can get that feedback from your audience. You know, that direct feedback from the audience, and you can make the book better. BA says, this comic helped me get addicted to commissioning art and to the point of wanting to do my own comic. That's what we like to hear. You know, the more the merrier. We need good comics, and I believe that there is absolutely an audience for, you know, good comics, good storytelling. You know, being a storyteller is like it's the oldest profession in the world. You know, and it's an important profession. It's how we've you know, carried down traditions and, you know, folklore and lessons and our history. You know, before the written word, you know, oral tradition was, you know, the way we, you know, pass down the history of our species, of our tribes. So this kind of stuff is important. I mean, you know, paintings on cave walls. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, they could be considered the first, you know, the first comic books. You know.
Oh, for sure.
You know, telling.
It's the universal communication.
It really is. It really is. Now, doing comics, has this been what you guys have always wanted to do? Were there any other career you know, choices for you, or has this always been it for you guys?
Well, me and Clayton used to be in like video game development. So Clayton was like a video game development teacher in uni, and then I was like one of the students in the uni class. So we're a bit into that, but then I guess I sort of slid more into doing comics after a while.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I dabbled in the video game creation as well. I was going to school for video game design, and I decided that I didn't really want to push and pull like pixels and vertices and all that stuff. I didn't have the temperament for it, I guess. I've always loved to draw. So, I get it. I mean, I still love video games. I never get a chance to play them anymore, but I do still enjoy them. So I get that. So it was either video games or comics.
Yeah, and the other thing is like, if you're going in the video game development, you have to be part of like a big video game team or something, right? Well, with comics, it's like you can be completely solo and push out your own product, your own story. So that's kind of what I like about it too.
Well, these days it probably is feasible to be able to create a video game with a small team of people because of all the tools you've got available.
True.
Especially with the AI and stuff that they've got coming out. But pretty different back in the day. I worked at a few studios, and the thing is that with video games, it sounds great. But like with anything else, when you start making it your job, it can feel, like, damn, I can't wait for 5 o'clock to roll around so I can get the heck out of here. But for me, it was between digital sculpting and artwork, comic book art, because I loved both.
Yeah.
And I know that I could have been an amazing digital sculptor if I stuck with that. But I was like, you have to make those tough choices. And choose pretty much one road to go down. So I went with comic book art because I figured I could express myself a little bit better through that. And the thing about comic book art is if you learn how to do that really well, then you will have no problem being a digital sculptor anyway, because you'll know anatomy, you'll know proportions. Same with being a concept artist. If you know comic art, then you're going to be a pretty good concept artist as well. And illustrator in general, because comic book art, it puts you through the ringer. Like, you've got to be able to come up with all sorts of compositions and camera shots of characters. You gotta have a complete mastery of illustration in order to be a good comic book artist. So if you
wait, you mean I got to draw a head from this angle? Why do I have to draw a foot from the bottom? What the hell?
Yeah, right.
Yep. Got to draw a wrist pronated and turned like that. It's it is. You don't realize it until you're like in the thick of it. Because drawing pinups is one thing. But when you're actually telling a story and going through, and you've got to make sure this camera angle works from here, and this is the best way to get this composition, get this shot, because you're kind of a cinematographer when you're laying out pages, Oh
yeah,
so
true.
Yeah,
it is. I like that analogy. It is kind of a boot camp. It puts you through the ringer. You learn how to draw anything from any angle.
But in a fun way, like the challenge, it keeps you engaged, and there's always something new to discover. It's like a video game that never ends. There's always that next level that you can get to. And when you learn all the fundamentals, then it's about self-discovery. Like, what is my ultimate style that I'm going to develop and go with? Like, that is always changing for me, at least. And I know Korey's style has definitely shifted and evolved over the years. You can see it with Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri. I mean, you look at their artwork in the 90s and you compare it to what they're doing now, it's almost a different artist.
Silvestri is just so damn good now. I mean, did you guys saw the Batman Joker book that he did, right?
Oh, yeah. And you can see he put his entire being into that book.
Yep. I mean, and I thought his new X-Men stuff was great, but damn. I love the line quality that he's able to get. Jason says, in the garage picking up heavy things for no reason and can't tag y'all. But hello, chat. Well, hello, Jason. And I agree with Feline here. Lift with your legs, not your back. Don't. You'll be unhappy if you throw out your back.
Oh, yeah. Got to watch out for that stuff these days. Not as young as we used to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, you sleep funny and you wake up with back pain, or you get especially in like your drawing arm. If you get a kink in your shoulder, it's kind of hard to sit there and do the daily grind of doing the drawing. So gotta take care of yourselves. Now, how do you guys have stand up desks, like sit down stand up desks? How do you feel about that? Because I'm thinking about getting one of those to put on the table that I have, so I can stand up and draw. Because I sit all day long.
Yeah. I feel like we should be getting stand-up desks as well, but I haven't got one now. And I don't have any immediate plans to get one, but I know that I should. It'd be a healthy life decision.
I get up and walk. Go ahead, Korey.
I do like sitting though, like standing up all day.
Comfortable.
Yeah, and we're drawing comics like the entire day. So I don't know if I could stand up the entire day. So.
I mean, the old painting masters. They would sit every now and then, but they would stand and they would paint. Especially if they had a big canvas. So that's where my mind's going with that. It's like, okay, maybe I can do that, and it'd be better for me in the long run. But I do try to get up and walk around, every couple of hours. That way I'm not. Way I keep the blood clots out of the legs. Got to keep moving.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I've been trying to exercise more. So if I grab a coffee and I take a break to do that, I'll do a quick set of push-ups just to get the blood flowing, or some squats.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Squats are hard.
Oh God,
I hate them so much.
Yeah, I try to be careful with my knees. Sometimes doing squats are hard on my knees.
Same.
It's the same reason I don't run. And if I'm doing if I'm gonna do like a treadmill or something like that, I usually get on the elliptical because it's easier on my knees.
Oh yeah.
There
you go.
Yeah. But I mean, I do enjoy walking. Sometimes getting outside and going to breathe some fresh air is kind of nice.
See, I don't do that enough. I go outside maybe once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
Gotta go to the grocery store every now and then.
Yeah, well, we get our groceries delivered.
Oh,
the supermarket.
Oh, wow.
The supermarket gives you that option. So.
Oh wow,
that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's convenient.
I don't trust deliveries.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get like the vegetables and they look like they've been sitting there for way past their good enough to eat stage.
Yeah, that's that would be my biggest problem with like getting groceries delivered. I want to go pick my own stuff. I'm picky like that, but
oh yeah.
Brisk walking is the best exercise. I enjoy it, and again, oxygenate the muscles, oxygenate the brain, and sometimes when I'm working on either drawing a page or when I'm writing something, sometimes getting away from it and going outside and getting some fresh air, and it helps to alleviate the block, helps move the blockage sometimes.
Oh, for sure. So where do you go walking? Do you go walking around your yard or around the block?
Just
or
the
do you have
neighborhood
a park that you go to? Yeah.
Yeah, the neighborhood around here is really quiet. It's very
Nice.
peaceful, and there's a waterway to walk by. So I just kind of follow the road that kind of loops the neighborhood, and I've got a little 40 to 50 minute path that I follow, and it's usually pretty good. It's really hot.
It's a good amount of time to walk too.
Yeah. Yeah, it always makes me feel a lot better, and I feel like okay, I can actually sit down and focus a little bit more on what I'm doing, what's in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Feline used to walk with me down here when she lived down here. It's a beautiful area, the intercoastal waterway. So sometimes I'll see storks and cranes and stuff like that. Waterfowl. Every so often
nice.
there's a gator out there.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I'm in Florida. There was I guess it was a few years ago now. Some dude broke into a house and was running from the cops through the swamp, and this 6-foot gator got him. like 8 of them.
Gosh, that's
They found his
crazy.
remains. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man.
They
Wow.
deputized the gator and then they shot it. So, yeah. But
Wow, that's
exercise is
cool.
good. Just don't go running through the swamps down here.
Yeah, no, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, Florida. We hear all about the American states in the movies that we watch in Australia.
Right.
And so whenever somebody says Florida or Alabama or wherever it is in America, it's almost like it's the same feeling that you get when you hear the name of a celebrity.
Yeah. Hear about Detroit all the time.
Oh God.
Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's an interesting place. So is Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
If you're ever over here and somebody wants to drive through downtown Baltimore, don't. Yeah.
Baltimore, that's where they are in The Wire with all the gangsters and stuff. Yeah.
I was driving through Baltimore once with my ex-wife because we didn't want to take the toll road through, and after we were driving through, and I swear to you, this dude literally just we almost hit a crackhead, like getting his fix on the corner, and he like backwards runs into the street, and literally had to stop, and he gives us his little skinny fist of approval, and then he runs off. Just like, okay, yep, never driving through this town ever again. So
it's still kind of like that.
I mean, this was quite a few years ago,
Right.
but yeah, I imagine it still is. I imagine it still is. It's an interesting place.
Interesting place. If you want to go on an adventure, go to Baltimore.
Yeah, just make sure you keep the doors locked. That's all.
Yeah.
Same with Detroit. K-pop says, "LOL, come down to the D. We are nice." I'm guessing she's in Detroit. And, great horned owls. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about the owls. We've literally got owls that are, you can't see me. They're about as big as my torso. I mean, they're huge.
Oh, that's cool.
Owls. Yeah, and they're loud, especially if you're up early in the morning or late at night, and they're out there talking. Yeah, they're super loud.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I heard about the giant rats in New York or something.
Oh yeah,
It's like giant rats the size of cats or something.
That is accurate. That is accurate. And sometimes you'll have a whole bunch of them that kind of like get knotted together. They call them rat kings.
Oh, gross.
It is gross. They get knotted together and then they start fusing together like some weird fucking sewer mutant. Yeah, it's
That actually happens?
That actually happens.
They fuse?
Look it up.
Man.
Like look it up on the internet. Like rat kings. They're just make sure you haven't just eaten lunch. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's gross.
Gross. We should put a rat king in our next comic, Korey.
There you go.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Speaking of your next comics, okay, what is next for you guys? I mean, obviously Korey's got Andromenoids coming up next. Is that what you're going to be finishing first, Korey?
Yeah, I mean, I've been so busy with commissions this year. I probably have to wait till early next year to campaign that properly, but it's still going and it's looking good. So
kicking out the jams, man, on those cover commissions, though. Seriously, I mean, they catch eyes, and that's the whole point of a cover, right?
Yeah, the commissions have been pretty great this year. Been able to survive off them while I work on Andromenoids, so it's pretty good.
Excellent. And that's right. That's right. And what? Obviously, you've got the Academy going on, Clayton. Is there a book that you're working on as well, or is the Academy kind of taking up all of your time currently?
The Academy does take up pretty much all my time at the moment, but I have been thinking about ways where I can kind of create a comic, but take people within the Academy through the process of producing one. So starting out with the character designs, actually, I'll share the screen with you real quick if you like.
Please.
And I'll show you a character that we just demoed in the Academy. And this is for a story that Korey and I have been, thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Of course, we have got Borok and for me, and Korey's got Andromenoids. But we also have this other project that we're thinking about called Alpha City, where we're going to be, putting a whole bunch of badasses into like a prison city. You can think of it as like Escape from New York, and except they're stuck in almost like a game show. So there's monitors and cameras and set up around the prison where people will place down money and bet, like the outside public, on who the next alpha is going to be. And what's really cool about that is the alphas, they get like extra resources delivered to them, like food and weaponry and other good stuff, armor. So
cool.
Yeah. We thought this could be a cool project that we could develop together. And one of the reasons that we wanted to do it is because I've got this line art style, which seems to go pretty well with Korey's coloring style. Because Korey's coloring style, it still looked good on Kozor, but it looks even better on line art that isn't as dense with the rendering. So, and Korey likes that room to move. Yeah. So we've been thinking about this, and we're not sure when it will come about or if it will come about, but it's something we're cooking up in the background.
That is badass. The concept kind of reminds me a little bit of like Running Man, but mixed with, some crazy superpowered individuals or something.
So we haven't seen Running Man before, and I was thinking Korey and we should watch that, man, for reference.
For sure. And if you get a chance to read the short story, it's even better.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
By the way, this guy, he's called Sharky, and Korey and I came up with him together. Well, Korey really came up with the idea for him. He's this guy who has modified himself. So he's not a mutant. He's just like mutilated himself to look more like a shark. So all the skin around his mouth has been like pulled back and welded to his neck, fused to his neck.
Yeah. Holy shit.
He's got like the eyelids around his eyes have been like cut away so that he's got more rounded shark-looking eyes, and they're tattooed black. His teeth are sharpened with an angle grinder. Obviously, he doesn't miss any gym days. He's pretty buff.
He doesn't skip leg day either.
No,
which is important.
In the future, he's probably taking some kind of like mutant gene therapy of some kind that involves shark stem cells. So maybe he's got that to help him along the way.
Yeah,
but
that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So he was a fun character to develop and come up with. And Korey loved the design, so we kept on going with it. And we'll see. I want to do a short sequence, at least for Sharky. So maybe 2-3 pages where we just see him introduced and maybe observe some of the damage he can do.
Right. Let him run loose for a little bit and see what kind of mischief he gets up to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure. So he's got like his nose has been chopped away as well. And one of the ways in which I was inspired to create this was there's an actual real person, I think he calls himself the Black Alien or something, who has mutilated, body modified himself.
Right.
And he's actually cut away his nose, he's tattooed his eyes, he's tattooed his entire body to look like an alien. Like he just really wants to look like an alien. And he's certainly managed to pull that off.
Yeah.
Like I thought about those, there's been a few people that try to make themselves look like lizards or people and stuff. So it's where the idea kind of comes from, like sort of like this almost like body horror type thing.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, that whole body modification thing kind of taken to the extreme levels.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
like,
go ahead.
Like he wants to look scary, so he can become the alpha of the city. And people fear him. So
kind of like that guy that was ripped apart by the alligator. Sharky one day saw what a shark could do to another person, and he's like, "Well, I want to be able to do that."
Right. I mean, that's a hell of a concept. I mean, sharks are terrifying. They're part of the reason why I'm not a big fan of the ocean. To be honest with you. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie, The Meg. I read the books. I read the books like when they came out, like when I was in college, and I mean I was living in New Hampshire at the time, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm nowhere near the ocean right now. the idea of a giant shark with like a mouth the size of a garage door, that just will come out of the depths of the ocean to just swallow you whole. That is terrifying to me.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
They are the apex predators of the ocean. So yeah, they're terrifying. And I mean, translating that to on land, jeez.
I'll show you this one other character as well, because he's somebody that we might actually include in Alpha City, just to give you a bit of a vibe for what we would be going for.
Nice.
He doesn't have a name yet, but
K-pop says Running Man is dope. Yeah, it is. And then we got a Dean. What's up, Dean? How you doing, man? Good day to you, sir.
yeah. So this was another character design as well that I did in the academy, just showing people the process for how a character develops from start to finish.
Yeah.
From the initial foundations, laying down the rough pose for the character, overlaying the anatomy on top, then the design, and ultimately bringing it through to a finished presentation. So yeah, he was a lot of fun. I liked his crazy looking mullet as well.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of some of like the anime in the 80s. You know how like they had like
Totally.
the out in space, but they had the cool mullet, but it was like flared out. I dig it. It's got a very fun throwback design to it. Mm-hmm. The dude has anime hair. Yes,
he sure does.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think I actually think it works well. Obviously, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, for those who don't know, so I do draw a lot of inspiration and a lot of energy from that series.
Heck yeah, it's good stuff, man. I remember when I was in high school, I just started watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami. I really enjoyed it, and I would draw a lot of that stuff, and I kind of got out of anime and manga and all that, like when I was getting into college, and then at a convention recently, I drew Goku and Vegeta for the first time in like 20-something years on little sketch cards. I had no idea that there were so many different versions of Goku and Vegeta these days. Hey, they got blue hair, and I was like, holy shit, they've got my hair.
Yeah, they kind of went pretty crazy with that. But I know the original series is definitely always going to be king for me. I still have to watch all of the latest Super series. I'm not sure how I'll feel about it by the end, but yeah, they got a few different rainbow colors that they go through when it comes to the levels of power that they can harness.
I mean, and the levels of power now just are obscene. I remember they were in the beginning. It's over 9,000. That used to be like the top of it, and now it's just like they're literally like smacking gods around and stuff like that. It's pretty insane.
And
it's crazy.
And, they can do it instantly as well. That's the thing. Like when Goku first turned into a Super Saiyan, man, that wasn't easy. Like he actually had to put some effort into that, and it felt special because of it. But now you've got like a billion different forms of what a Super Saiyan is. Yeah. And they can just switch it on and off willy-nilly. So I feel like
it's like a myth.
Yeah, like they took away the
myth.
specialness of it a bit, but
they did. They kind of watered down the mystique a little bit. Because I stopped watching like right after the Frieza saga, because that's what they had on Toonami. And, I had the internet back then, and so I was like, all right, well, I got to see how this goes on. And I found out that it went on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't have time for this. So I just kind of dropped it after that. And then after that, I kind of got out of anime. But I mean, I guess one of my favorites is probably Cowboy Bebop, and then Trigun. Love Trigun. I think Trigun's great.
Yeah, nice. I have to check those out. I remember watching Cowboy. I've seen Cowboy Bebop, the whole series. It's great.
It is a fantastic series. And then I remember when they put the movie out, I managed to get like a DVD, like it was a bootleg copy of the DVD of the movie. It was still in Japanese. They hadn't done the English dub yet. I was at MegaCon, and I got that DVD. I still have it. But yeah, that was kind of like my exit of anime at that time. And going back, I find that I like a lot of the older anime, like from the 80s and 90s, a lot more than some of the newer stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
Same.
just
It's way better.
you know, just the cyberpunk aesthetic. You know, I guess that could also be because that was my introduction to anime. I mean, you know, Ghost in the Shell, Armitage 3, you know, those were like two of my, and Akira, obviously. You know, those were like my introductions to anime back in the day. Back in my day, I used to rent VHS tapes at the Blockbuster.
Yeah, no, it's, man, how much has times changed since then? And we've been one of those generations that just saw such a evolution and development in technology. From the, you know, there was those brick phones. I mean, there wasn't even mobile phones when we were first born. There was just phones that sat on the wall and had like a
cord.
You know.
Oh, the rotary dial. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
My great grandmother had one of those.
Yeah, my auntie had one.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. And then you, of course, had the handheld phone. That's where it went to next. And then you had, well, you started out with cassettes for music. And then that went to CDs. And then you could play those in a CD player, then a Discman. And then they had MP3s. And then they had, well, eventually mobile phones came along. And yeah, we've seen it all. And it's, when you really think about how much we've seen technology evolve to the point where now we're at this point of AI, which is, who knows what that's going to do long term.
Right.
And what kind of technology is going to come about as a result from it.
Yeah. Yeah,
the next 5, 10, especially 20 years is going to be a very interesting time.
It really is. Actually, speaking of that, where do you guys see comics in the next 5 to 10 years? You know, you guys have been working in this field for a while now. You've had your ear to the ground. You know, you talk to people. Like, where do you see this medium going? And you know, is AI going to you know, is it going to ruin things, or will human drawn like this stuff, real made artwork, is it still going to be, you know, the highly sought after thing?
Yeah, I think that people will always love to see cool stuff. So now let me talk about the AI thing first. Yeah, because I put a lot of thought into that. I saw this Instagram reel. It was
good stuff.
It was good stuff. It was a comparison between a circle that was drawn freehand by a human and a circle that was drawn by an AI. And because the AI had a perfect circle, and the hand drawn by a human circle, it was like a little bit wobbly. It wasn't perfect, but it looked way more interesting to observe than the AI one. And so I think for that, like, that was just a perfect example of the edge I think that humans have over AI work. And it sounds like I'm being biased and it's wishful thinking, but I do like to think about this stuff objectively. Yeah. And I do think AI is going to kick the ass of a lot of industries, probably a lot of art industries, the entertainment industry for sure. You know, the video stuff that they're putting out, but I feel like humans will always enjoy seeing that human touch. And I think that will be something that is difficult for the AI to imitate. I'm sure it might get better. Agree. Maybe it will learn that, hey, you got to make less perfect stuff in order to be more appealing to humans. But maybe, you know, too perfect for us as observers, it can tend to look boring. Like, if you take a character that's being drawn with perfect proportions and perfect anatomy and a perfect design, like, okay, that will leave somewhat of an impression, but it's actually not enough. It's really the artist's style that it's created in that leaves an impression on the audience. And an artist's style, well, it's as unique as the person who's drawing it.
I agree.
So, and I think that's, there is a limit to AI in that capacity. But in terms of where the comic book industry is going, I don't know for sure. But when I see what we're doing in crowdfunding, and not just us, but also Ripper, the Ripperverse.
Yep.
Regardless of what your thoughts are there, there's also a bunch of other creators out there who aren't even a part of CG, who are also doing well crowdfunding books, which tells me that there must be a market there.
Exactly.
Of people who want to read. Now, it could be skewed a little bit because maybe people are only buying these comic books because they're a fan of whoever is selling them. And I think we are entering, we are in a creator economy right now. And so for those of you out there who want to make comic books, you got to do what Luke is doing here, create a YouTube channel and serve an audience. And
build that audience.
They're going to, build a rapport with them, let them get to know you, give them an inside look at the making of your project, make them feel like they're part of it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the key to actually making those sales and getting your product in people's hands. If you look at Joe Rogan, for example, that guy could sell anything. He could sell a sneaker and it would do well, right? And so we're in a place where we have the opportunity to do the same thing.
Yeah.
In our case, it's comic books. And just start doing it. You can do it. It is hard to build a YouTube channel, but
it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, that's for sure. But we have a unique opportunity, with the technology that we have to be able to directly connect with our audience. Yeah. To be able to have this interaction,
and I see people
have the chat over here. Yeah.
I see people with tiny channels. I think the YouTube algorithm has changed a little bit, where it's starting to show random videos to audiences, and sometimes it's from creators that haven't even been around that long. They maybe have like 5 to 10 videos on their channel, and one of them just takes off, and all of a sudden they get discovered, and people love their content. So, there are new people jumping on the YouTube all the time and building massive channels. So certainly it's possible for you as well.
Absolutely. Just got to make content that you enjoy, and you'll find your audience. Make comics that you enjoy, and you'll make something that you would read, make something that you would watch, and you'll find your audience for it. I fully believe that, man.
And there's loads of courses out there, by the way. You can learn anything. There's loads of courses or free YouTube videos on YouTube where you can learn how to build a kick-ass channel. And, I got to tell you, as an education resource, it's not like you're getting like just cheap, useless content on YouTube. They give you really insightful tips. Yeah, and I'd get into it. No excuses. I was talking to a creator the other day who said to me, it's just impossible. It's pointless to build a YouTube channel these days. And it's like, well, actually, it's not impossible because people are doing it all the time. It's not like it's not like there's only PewDiePie and that's all that there, and Mr. Beast, and that's all that there's ever going to be. Like, they're not just owning YouTube all of a sudden. No, there's new creators coming out all the time.
Just make something new. You gotta find your niche. Find something that means something to you, and then make that content based on it, and you'll find other people. Chances are, you'll find other people that are into the same, the same weird shit that you're into. Yeah,
YouTube is a search engine. Don't forget that. So, I love collecting Dragon Ball Z figures as an example. And so if I start making videos about Dragon Ball Z figures, guess what? My audience is going to find me because the latest perfect Cell statue has just been released. They search it into YouTube and they find the latest video that I've just done on it. So that's how you get discovered on there. And YouTube will put a new video right up there in the search results. They do that to test whether or not it's actually going to be appealing to people. So that's why if you've got one of those keyword readers on your videos, you'll see the rankings for each of your keywords that you've used. They change. So if your video is actually doing well and people are enjoying it and watching it, then you'll rank higher for that particular keyword because the people searching it are clicking on your video and watching it. So yeah, it's just, there you go, little tip.
Yeah, see, always learning something new, and I agree, man. YouTube is full of like useful information. I find myself listening to YouTube videos while I'm working. You know, if I'm not listening to an audiobook or music, I'm listening to a YouTube video. You know, I use it for doing tech support all the time. You know,
it's totally, there you go, perfect example.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been going for a little over an hour here. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Do we have any kind of an idea when we might see KOZOR 2?
I've been asking Korey about it myself. When's it happening, bro? Come on.
Might be a few years off. Look, if Andromenoids is a massive success and I got a lot of cash, I'll just do KOZOR 2 straight after. And
well, there you go.
You know, it's a dream. Is hopefully I can just push out books without having to worry about money. So,
well, then everybody go sign up for Andromenoids right now. Hit that link that Flying Feline has so graciously put in the chat for you, making it easy. Go hit that link, sign up for Andromenoids. That way you will be notified when Korey launches the book, and then you can back it and help him bring KOZOR 2 to life.
Okay.
And absolutely, Clayton. Any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, listen. If you are an aspiring comic book artist who wants to level up your skill, then I highly suggest checking out the How to Draw Comics Academy. And the reason I'm suggesting it over the other stuff that's out there is because, well, of course I'm biased, but also at the same time, you know, there's nothing I know that Korey values more than when I do a draw over of his work. And he literally begs me for these draw overs sometimes.
He does do good draw overs.
And the thing is it can completely transform whatever piece of artwork that you're working on right now. If you're struggling with it, if you're looking for a way to make it better, then the How to Draw Comics Academy members, they enjoy that luxury because every single week I go over the top of their work, I do a draw over, I show them the areas in which the stuff that they're working on can be improved. And that's the kind of stuff that you're never going to get from a course. You're never going to get that from a YouTube video. And really the only place you can get it is from a mentor or coach. And I think that the How to Draw Comics Academy is the next best thing. Of course, you get all the lessons and whatnot that we do once a week as well, or sometimes multiple times a week. We also have drawing jams where we all catch up in the one room and we draw out some cool stuff. We can draw out our own stuff, or sometimes there's a prompt there.
Nice.
And it's just a great way to give you an excuse to set aside that time in your busy week to do what you're most passionate about. Draw something that you enjoy. So definitely jump in there, join the How to Draw Comics Academy. I'd love to see you pop up in the live chat. All our lessons are live, and then we upload the recordings of them to the How to Draw Comics Academy Vault, which is certainly expanding week by week. Got a ton of lessons in there now. Sometimes it's hard to know where to begin, but luckily everything is categorized so you know exactly where to find what it is you're looking for.
Absolutely. And he's got some absolute amazing artists working with him. Got a killer's row of amazing talent helping to teach these lessons. So go hit this link. Including Comics Mate. That's right. Dean passing on his knowledge as well. So hit this link that Feline has dropped into the chat. Support these guys. These guys are indie comics. They're awesome. They do great work. Jason says 5 more hours. Unfortunately, these guys have a day to get to. They've got real stuff that they got to do. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to hang out. It has been an absolute pleasure talking with you guys, and I am so freaking excited to read this book. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us, Luke.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you guys have a book that you want to promote, hit me up. You're more than welcome to come on. Absolutely.
Yeah, same to you as well.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right, chat. Thank you so much for being here. Remember,
shop smart, shop S-Mart.
And we will see you next time. Later.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?